on this exciting day in Pittsburgh Public Schools. I just want to give you a rundown of the order. We're going to first get remarks from our board president, Mr. Saluddin. We will then hear from our candidate, and then we will also hear from a special guest who is here with us today. And following that, we will do Q&A, which I'll open up after the remarks. Thank you.
Save your applause for the real hero of this meeting. Good afternoon. It is beautiful to look out and see this full house. Thank you all very much for coming. Many of you have been with us throughout this whole process. So today we are gathered to announce the new leadership, permanent leadership, the permanent superintendency of Pittsburgh Public Schools. So this is a great day. I want to welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. It's great that you're with us today to make this introduction because many of us have been waiting for this day for quite some time. But first, joining us today are some very special guests that I'd like to introduce. I first want to introduce our esteemed board of directors. Some of them are here in person, and there are panels on remote, and along with our solicitor. But present here with us is Devin Talaferro. Give her a hand. Pam Harvin is remote. Give her a hand. Bill Gallagher, where's Bill? Bill Gallagher. Tracy Reed. Sylvia Wilson. Jane here. Jane is not able to make it. We had some last minute changes that prevented a couple of board members from being able to join us because they work for a living. Can you imagine that? Choosing a superintendent, of all the things that the board of directors is tasked with doing, choosing the superintendent is one of the most important tasks that we are charged with doing. And I want to thank our board of directors for taking the importance of this task to heart. We had some help with this task. We hired a firm called BWP and Associates, and they helped lead this national search because we wanted to make sure that our search was indeed a national search, and that the person who came out on top came out among national competition, serious competition. And BWP and Associates helped to lead that national search. None of this could have been done without the generous financial philanthropic support of the Richard King Mellon Foundation and the Pittsburgh Foundation. So I personally want to thank them for their support and providing me funding to allow this to happen. There were 29 applicants for this position from across the country, and one from outside the country, one from another whole country, who wanted to be the superintendent of Pittsburgh Public Schools. That's pretty cool, eh? So the field was a robust field. BWP helped us organize community input. Community input was very important to this board because we wanted to shape our leadership profile based on the input of the community. And as a result, over 1,700 people in this city, in this region, participated in the community input. Most of them I met at Giant Eagle. But there were focus groups, there were community groups, there were one-on-one interviews. It was a thoroughgoing, and people were very excited about expressing their opinion because they knew who exactly we needed to hire as the superintendent. And they stopped me in the produce section, in the meat section, trying to check out. But the Pittsburghers are like that, aren't we? So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our selection as the permanent superintendent for Pittsburgh Public Schools, Dr. Wayne Moore. Dr. Walters brings extensive experience of over 30 years. Hey, Chris. When you come to church, you have to put up a finger and walk to your seat. He's been a teacher, an assistant principal, an assistant superintendent of 6 to 12, assistant superintendent of professional development and special program, and since October of 2021, interim superintendent within our very own district. That's quite a record. He's gone from teacher to the very top. So it is no surprise that Dr. Walters has gained the board's confidence and the confidence among teachers, administrators, students, and parents alike. So please spread the word to stop making phone calls and emails and letters. We got your message. The reason why there's so much outpouring of support for Dr. Walters is because he has demonstrated over that 30 years high standards in education and unparalleled integrity. That's what people know him for and love him for. So they appreciate that. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Walters to the podium for some remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Levine, and good afternoon. I enter this space with humility and a tremendous amount of gratitude. To the Board of Directors of the School District of Pittsburgh, I say thank you. I thank you for your belief in me, as well as the opportunity to lead the Pittsburgh Public Schools as its permanent superintendent. I accept this honor and privilege with an unwavering commitment to serve the children, staff, and families of the Pittsburgh Public Schools. I thank my mother and my late father, who were both educators that instilled values of hard work, faith, humility, service, as well as a belief in the game-changing power of education. I proudly stand on their shoulders. Their teachings, even when inclusive of tough love, energize and guide my morality and integrity daily. I also thank the rest of my family, as I have nothing without them. I thank public education. I am a proud product of public education, and it changed my life. I represent a small portrait of the potential outcomes of public education. I lead with a strong belief that our children have one rotation in the pre-K to 12 public education system, and it must be done well to create transformative opportunities that lead to the fulfillment of lifelong dreams for those we serve. I thank the Pittsburgh Public Schools as the only employer I have ever known that has nurtured my career and creativity, built lasting relationships, and fulfilled my passion as an educator. Mark Anthony said, "If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life." I honor half of this quote and deal with the reality of the other. I love what I do, but I'm not confused that this work is demanding, challenging, but at the same time, so rewarding. So to the staff of the Pittsburgh Public Schools, I will always honor, value, and respect your tenacity and dedication to our children and our families. We need to build back morale and improve communication, so know that I listen and hear your concerns. I also thank you for your words of encouragement and support throughout this journey. I thank my mentors and those who have inspired and built some of my core philosophies along the way. Although there are too many to mention, I'll share some names like Leroy Troughton, Austin Van Zandt, and Georgia Francis, who were educators that brought me joy through their teaching. Judge Vaughn Hodge, who introduced this motto that I have shared with so many children and is the motto of Pittsburgh Obama. Dr. Natalie Ozeas, my Carnegie Mellon professor, who is ever present with continual support. Patricia Fisher, my first principal at Martin Luther King Elementary, who saw more in me as an educator than I saw in myself. Ernestine Reed, former principal of Frick International Studies Academy, who still tells me how proud she is of me. Linda Jo Nelson, Regina Simon, and Jocelyn Rhodes, who are master educators that I learned from and try to emulate in practice and passion. And former board member, Dr. Regina B. Holly, who met me as a graduating college student at an employment fair and sternly directed me to go to this very building to become a part of the Pittsburgh Public Schools family, where we would eventually become colleagues and have remained friends. This is only the tip of the iceberg of mentorship that have provided models and guidance along the way. I thank the students of the Pittsburgh Public Schools. I see two of them here, Abby, David, as you bring me the greatest joy in this profession. Your growth, your development, and intellect motivate and inspire me to do more for you. Throughout my career, I have always been described as unapologetically students first. I am proud of that characterization and continue to be that person. Students, your authentic, unfiltered voices of truth ground me and remind me that our work and purpose is solely about you and your success. I will continue to elevate your voices as barometers for change in our district. I thank our families. Over the years, we have built strong relationships through individual and collective work. You have served as some of my loudest voices of support, offered keen perspectives, volunteered and offered service in multiple ways, and have been strong champions of my aspirations. You have always been a welcomed phone call and an email away for action. You are our valued partners and send us your best every day of the school year and even in summer months. My role is to provide the leadership, resources, and opportunities to deliver a world-class educational experience. We're not without challenges, and those challenges have been heightened and further exposed by this pandemic. But I see this as an opportunity to innovate, and I have a strong desire to work together to create a brighter day in our beloved district. All of our children deserve it, regardless of race, zip code, gender, learning disability, sexual orientation, ethnicity, or economic designation. Our children deserve it.
Yes.
I thank our community partners. Your intentional and continual investment is so appreciated. Additionally, your willingness to partner, provide resources and philanthropic support, access to internships and further opportunities and experiences for our students is phenomenal, and further support our efforts to create college, career, and life-ready students. You bring the phrase, teamwork makes the dream work, to life. And one thing I know about the Pittsburgh community is that you are always poised for assisting Pittsburgh Public Schools, and I hope this never changes. I thank my friends and colleagues who encourage me and continually share the truth, wisdom, love, and hope. Your presence, words, actions, advocacy, and prayers never go unnoticed, and keep them coming, especially the prayers. Our students, staff, families, and the community partners are priceless gems of the Pittsburgh Public Schools crown. Your collective value, investment, and commitment cannot be calculated in monetary value. However, I openly admit that the education of our future generation is a collaborative effort that our district cannot do alone. I welcome your ideas and collaboration in alignment with our core goals and values to build our competence and confidence for execution in equitable ways, laced with finesse, while producing the accompanying student outcomes and experiences that are promising. Finally, as I began with humility and gratitude, I close with the same sentiment. I am truly honored to be selected to do this work. I thank you for your support throughout this process, and look for your support in the good and the challenging times ahead. I realize at times we may not see eye to eye, but know that all my thinking, planning, strategizing, and the decision-making are rooted in equity, those who continue to be marginalized, and what is best for the students we serve. One of my mentors mentioned earlier, Church Verne Hodge, who started the Rising Stars Steel Orchestra as an intervention program for young people in the Virgin Islands, where I was a proud member, created opportunities for me to come home from college and work every summer, see the world, embrace diversity, and enjoy the beauty of travel as a young performing artist. I adapted his motto, which states, "Nothing in life is so complicated that it cannot be achieved by discipline and hard work." I believe these words, and I want our students to be invested in these ideas. Thank you again for entrusting me and your faith as Superintendent of Pittsburgh Public Schools. I look forward to our new school year that begins next month. And I look forward to this exciting new challenge and opportunity to help students, teachers, and families believe in the valuable rewards of public education. Stay healthy and safe. And I am PPS. You are PPS. And we together are PPS.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Walter. We're thrilled to have you leading the helm of Pittsburgh Public Schools. I would also like to note that there's some others that we want to thank and acknowledge. But before we go on, I would have recognized those people before our next speaker. But if you know Mayor Gainey, you know that nobody wants to come after Mayor Gainey. Why would you put me after Mayor Gainey? We are delighted to have the friendship and the bond between Pittsburgh Public Schools and the city of Pittsburgh. This is a historic connection. It's historic enough to have Ed Davey sitting in the mayor's office. And it's more historic to have the city of Pittsburgh, under his leadership, connected at the hip, moving this district forward to educate our children. And you could not have had a stronger advocate than Edward Gainey. Ed,
good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? We got it right. We got it right. And here's why. I think that the wisdom of the journey of climbing the hill of education and holding multiple positions puts you in a position to lead. It puts you in a position to excel with everything that you learn. That is embodied in Dr. Walters. And that's why I advocate for it. Secondly, if you talk to a lot of the parents whose kids come up under Dr. Walters, they will tell you how many are now in college, or now have made it, see purpose in education, find joy in life. That's the leader we want. That's the leader we need. And when I see how he brings people together, where he listens and where he hears ideas of how we can move forward. I think it's up to us as a region to not just say, Dr. Walters, this is on you, but really this is on us. It's how leaders from this region come together to undergird his administration, his leadership, to say that we're all in it together. It's easy to point the finger. It's better to come together. Pointing the finger has never got anything accomplished. The first thing I said when I got elected is that I want to have a relationship with PPS because I understand the importance and value of that. And we have one. My commitment as mayor is to work with you every step of the way and to call every leader in this region to help us build an education system that says that we are the best in America. It is not up to one person. It is up to all of us. The teachers, assistant teachers, the parents, everybody. We don't want to leave one child left behind. The village is not what's created. The village is what we make. And we are primed to make this a city where all is welcome, where all feel safe, and all believe they can thrive. We are the new Pittsburgh. We are the new PPS. And together as a region, not by mayor, not by superintendent, but as a region, we can build the education system we want. Together we will get there. And today, I congratulate you. Because there can't nobody say that this was given to you. And may each one of our children can see the dedication and commitment. They will believe they can. And the example starts today. Congratulations.
Believe it or not, this is a press conference. And we are going to get to the press conference part. But I first would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge some other partners who helped to make the school district run. So I first want to ask the staff of Pittsburgh Public Schools who are in the house tonight to please stand and accept our congratulations and thanks. Staff, please stand. Thank you. There are a couple other partners who are here also. Is Nina Esposito Skydus, the head of the union, the PFT? Stand up, Nina. Diana Bucco, Pittsburgh Promise, Saline, we see you in the back. Christina Terrell. Patricia McClung. David Bayode. Thank you all, not just Abby Black is here. We got a date coming up soon, right? An interview. Thank you. And Teresa Kell Smith. Did you stand up, Teresa? Thank you all very, very much. I want to let you all know how much we appreciate what you give to the students of this city, and what you, in giving through the Pittsburgh public school system, you make life better for our children. And what you do is appreciated. Whether you're able to give a little or a lot, whatever you give is appreciated. And we thank you. We will be having a larger, more public celebration coming up soon. The law requires that Dr. Walters is sworn in by a common police court judge. And that will happen soon. We are tying down the details on that. And you'll be notified of when that is scheduled and when you're invited. And I hope you'll be able to join us at that time. The board will officially vote on Dr. Walters' contract at our next legislative meeting on July 27th. And after that very evening, Dr. Walters will start work. He's actually scheduled to start work August the 1st, but it was important that we get him on board and moving forward in time for the opening of the next school year, and we managed to do that with the help of the board. So I want to thank everybody, the board, our partners, our parents, and everyone for all you've done to help make that happen. This portion now is turned over to Ebony and to receive questions from the media. Ebony, it's yours.
Great, thank you, Mr. Nadeem. So the way that we'll do this for the media that's here, if you could please stand up. Portia Martin will have a microphone for you. If you can announce your name, who you are, who you're with, and then give your question. We will have the appropriate person answer your question here at the podium. Right here.
All right, I'll get this, Mr. Sheen first.
Dr. Walters, the Solid Dean, as board president, has made a cause of addressing what he sees as a literacy crisis in the early grades in PPS with reading proficiency numbers in some schools as low as 15%. I'd like to know what you have been doing about this, what you plan to do about this, and whether it will involve the graders.
Thank you, Mr. Sheen, for your question.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your question. Our unofficial year begins with our Summer Leadership Academy, which begins on August 1st. And so that is the time where we come together with our school leaders and their school leadership teams to learn about our key initiatives for the beginning of the year. The construct of that is divided into 3 sections: culture, systems, and instruction. And so it's funny you would ask that about literacy, because the research in literacy has evolved. And so now what is considered very important and up to the forefront is the science of reading. And so that launches our work in really transforming our beliefs about reading and literacy instruction, our strategy for that. And so we've hired a consultant, Dr. Allison Dooley, to support us in the development of that. And then we'll have professional development focused on that to build our leadership capacity and our teacher capacity to implement those strategies. Of course, we know we have some curriculum challenges with alignment and coherence, and all of that is a part of the work. And also our assessment systems to really evaluate what students are learning and their literacy capacity. So we look forward to the year and building the capacity. Of course, teachers need to learn first so students can learn. And so to build the capacity in science of reading begins at our Summer Leadership Academy 2022. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Jane Chuck, WTAP. I wanted to ask you, you talked about planning, you talked about strategizing, a little bit about the literacy rate, but what is your first goal that you want to accomplish, and how do you plan to work with the city of Pittsburgh and Mayor Payne to accomplish any of those goals?
So the beauty of this is that we already work together. So this is just a continuation of a relationship that we've had. But as it relates to the school district, of course, we have achievement concerns, we have staffing concerns, we have capacity concerns, and most important, when the school year begins, we want to make sure that we can start in a space that's healthy and safe, that our students are our first priority, so that we have schedules and we're ready to receive them with our transportation and everything. And so that's the first priority, is to make sure that we're ready for the start of the school year. In addition to what I just mentioned about our Summer Leadership Academy, in really creating a focus and alignment and coherence for all of our schools to be on one page so that we can move forward together, not as silos, but as a unified district working for our students.
Hello, I'm Sarah Schreier with the BSA. I wanted to know, you had mentioned low staff morale, and as your last position was in professional development, I'm wondering what you learned in the last 10 months and how you'll use that to improve morale for your staff.
So I think a part of morale is that individuals want to be listened to, they want to be heard, and they want individuals to act based on that listening. And so I think at the core of morale is just being respected, honored, and valued. And so that's something that I come to the table with. That's what I believe in fundamentally. And I am one of them. I am a Pittsburgh Public Schools educator. And so I understand it intimately. I believe in them. I respect what they do. I understand how challenging it is to educate students in this point. And so my hope is that I am a presence of hope, aspirations, and a morale booster for our district.
Hello, I'm Andrew Goldstein.
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah.
Never saw you before. Just to see you in writing.
My question is from actually Mr. Dean.
Perfect.
Thank you. I'm wondering, it's kind of a two-part question. First off, how quickly did the board kind of land on Dr. Walters as the decision to be a superintendent? And the second part is, in terms of the search process, I'm curious about some of the other finalists you had, where they came from. Can you identify who they were, or any other, anything else about them?
Yeah, Dr. Walters came through the competition very quickly. The board made a decision about offering the position to Dr. Walters also very quickly. The support that Dr. Walters received from among the educators in the city, the parents, the students, elevated his candidacy up to the top very quickly. And so it was not difficult, it was not a difficult decision for the board to arrive at a unanimous agreement to offer Dr. Walters a position. The second part of your question was?
Yes, the second part was, anything you can tell us about some of the other finalists?
We don't have that information. The way we organized this process with BWP was that BWP would do the first screening of candidates and present from their professional perspective the best 5 out of that whole group of 29 that applied. And then the process was for us to interview all of those. They were very experienced superintendents from various parts of the country. We will not identify who they are.
Is there a particular reason?
Yeah, some of them have not even told their boss that they were in the market or available. So you can't throw their names around carelessly. You have to be very, very intentional and deliberate about confidentiality. So we will not be disclosing any confidentiality rule as long as we discuss these candidates. We will not be disclosing who they are. We already told you that the number is 29 plus 1. And that's about as much information as we'll be able to share with you about who they are. Thank you.
Thank you. And this might be a question for Mr. Weiss. I was wondering if you have any details about the contract that you can release at this point, how many years, salary, anything like that?
It will be a 5-year contract. We will release the details next Wednesday after the board votes. I'm still in the process of finalizing details with Dr. Walton's representative.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Emma Foltz, and I'm working with Public Source. My question is for Dr. Walters. Hi, Dr. Walters.
Hi.
How are you intending to address and manage some of the district's financial challenges, including its 2022 budget deficit?
So I think our financial challenges are threefold, because although we recognize the financial challenges, we have to approach it through what I call three lenses, my 3 E's. Equity, excellence, and efficiency. So we know we have a responsibility to equity because we cannot allow zip codes to inform the delivery of education and the quality of education our students receive. 2, we have to become a district of excellence. So we have to make sure that our offerings are robust, innovative, and really meet the needs and demands of the students to prepare them for the next level. And of course, efficiency. We have a responsibility to the public to be efficient in our operations and effective in that process. You're welcome.
I'm Rob Taylor with the New Pittsburgh Courier. Just 2 questions. You had a national search, Mr. O'Dean, but I wanted to know what type of importance was placed on a person leading this school district, Pittsburgh Public Schools, who has already been in the district?
Well, his tenure of over 30 years in the district is one of the things that elevated him to the top of the list. We also, the reason why we got input from 1,700 people in Pittsburgh was to shape that leadership profile that we wanted. So we started with a blank slate. What is it that we want? What is it that we need? And the community filled in the blanks and decided what it is that we need and want in a superintendent. Then we interviewed the candidates to see who came closest to that leadership description that we received from the community. And based on our interviews and comparisons to that leadership profile, we interviewed and selected the candidates.
And Mr. O'Dean, I wanted to ask you, for you or any other board member, was there a moment or a conversation or something in this process that made somebody say, this is definitely our guy? For any board member or you, and
I would invite any board member who would like to hear, who would like to answer that, but for me personally, there was no single moment. Dr. Walter's excellence was apparent from the very beginning, and it stayed through the very end. Sylvia, come up to the front so we can see.
Okay, it's gonna hear me because I'm so tall. Well, as I think Mr. Dean alluded, we've been having, I know personally, I have had people talking to me since October when he was first nominated as interim, and gave me all kinds of reasons about why it should have been Dr. Walters. And I think all the way from October through our process, we've had people from the community speak. Of course, I personally know what Dr. Walters has done because my granddaughter went to Obama as a middle school student, and I know what he did as the administrator in that building, but also as a fellow colleague when I was teaching. I know exactly what was going on. His commitment to students, to the community, to parents, his relationships outside of the schools was certainly high marks. But we did go through the process. And as Mr. Dean also mentioned, we had others who we interviewed. And when you looked at what others had to say, and we looked at the comparison with Dr. Walters, it was kind of a no-brainer once we went through the whole process.
Andrew Lindberg, KDK Radio. My question is for Dr. Walters. Sorry to make you back up. My question is about transportation. I know last year there were some issues with buses and lack of buses. I just want to know what steps have been taken or what steps are being taken to ensure that students are able to get to school properly this year.
Sure. So we have our Chief Operations Officer here, but I will not put him on the spot since you asked me to answer the question. Mike McNamara, thank you very much. But at any rate, transportation continues to be a challenge. We are prepared this year, we believe, to transport our students and be prepared to do that on time. We had a seat gap issue at this juncture. We do not see that seat gap issue. Of course, we raised the salary of bus drivers. We continue to do methods to try to attract bus drivers to take the journey of transporting our children daily and safely to school. So we have made some adjustments or proposing some adjustments for the board to vote on to adjust some start times. We still want to continue to look at that and evolve with what is ideal for our students. Of course, we know there's some research out there around high school students and the benefits of them attending school later. And what that impact will have. Right now we have a 3-tiered system, and we transport not only Pittsburgh Public School students, but all of our students in the area. So we have the responsibility to transport all of those students. And so we have this tiered system, but we wanted to make sure that students are getting to school on time. We're challenged with that, but we want to make sure that they get to school on time. They have an opportunity to eat breakfast, because breakfast begins the day. That's a part of what we offer for our students. And then be able to be well educated and get home at a reasonable time. And so we're poised to do a lot better this year, and we hope for the best. You only get one question. I'm just kidding.
So I wondered if you could tell us about your strategy around enrollment, because enrollment dropped again last year, and I'm wondering if it's a priority for you to try to bring back families that are either left for charter schools or private schools or left the city altogether.
It's always a strategy. Of course, our passion is those who remain first and foremost, but I do believe if we build it, they will come. And so that's what we have to do right now. We have to make sure that the gems of the Pittsburgh Public Schools crown are well polished and shine bright so all can see and serve as a beacon of light for the city of Pittsburgh to return back home.
Right. I think that does it for us for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Walters, Mr. Dean, our board. All right. So if you have any follow-up questions, need the media, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to assist you. And thank you all.
So
Nice to have you guys back in here for once. It's been 3 years. More work for you. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so I can bring you more videos on subjects like this and many other topics. Please leave any comments in the comment section. Any questions or comments, I'll get back to them as soon as I possibly can. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.